See what I do? I go down through here doing this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of What's Happening Now with C9 Solutions. As always, remember to like, share, and comment on this broadcast live, as there could be information here that someone else in your family or friends can use other than yourself. All right, Brewster, I know coming up in October, we still got one class where we're finished with entrepreneurship, but we're going to start our second one in October 20th. Absolutely. For those who are still trying to get into the class, go ahead and register now so we have you in there so we can get you set up for that October 20th class. Those seats will fill up fast, so please go ahead and register for that event, okay?
A note to that, y'all, especially if you want to see me. So I'll be in that class.
Ooh, now we ain't gonna have nobody. But anyway, so tonight's guest, we have Rising Stars Tutoring LLC owner, founder, Miss Portia Chapman here. Miss Portia, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So tell us how did you get started?
I am originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I started this in 2016, and then relocated back to Huntsville, Alabama in 2017. And so when I relocated, it was still a need for education, a tutoring service, tutoring in Huntsville, so I continued. But then when COVID happened, I had to find a new location. And now I have now not only one location, but I have two.
Wow. So has this always been your passion, or what prompted you to start tutoring?
Kids are my passion. I am a certified school teacher in Huntsville City Schools, and this is my 11th year teaching.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So when you talk about tutoring, and you and I talked offline about this, most times parents believe when we're talking about tutoring is because somebody who's failing or somebody who's not grasping or they can't read. Is that often the case, or what are other circumstances why people are receiving tutoring instructions?
Yes, in today's time, we look at tutoring as a struggle or a need, not understanding that tutoring can be an enrichment. You never stop learning. You never stop learning. And once we gravitate to that, to understand that, we'll see that our kids will enhance better in reading, will enhance better in math. So we have to get out that mindset that tutoring is just for the needy, because it's really not.
Wow.
So I had a follow-up to that. So I was listening to, I think it was the radio this morning as I was driving on the highway to nowhere. And they talk about, they talk about COVID and the COVID experience. I'll call it the experience, and how it has affected the reading level of children. Do you find that that's happening?
That is so true. Think about it. The kids were out of school for 2.5 years.
All right.
Although we have virtual learning, you're limited to yourself. Oftentimes, some students not showing up. Teachers getting online, students not showing up, and they can't. If you're already struggling, how can you really gravitate to a portal online? It's very hard. A lot of kids need that hands-on instruction, and you cannot be hands-on behind a screen.
Okay, so I have another one. So what's the answer? How do we get our children back on the level?
I'm so glad you asked that.
Yeah, okay.
I wish we can get back to a village. That parents understand that it takes a team. When I say a team, I'm talking about teacher, student, parent. Teacher, student, parent. Parents, we can't do it alone. We cannot. So when we take education serious, like we used to do, we will see that those gaps will start to mend instead of widening.
Right.
Is there a roadmap? Okay, you said teacher, student, and then parents. I'm a parent of a tribe called Ombi, and but I find that even my kids, I think they're I listen to them when they read, right? And I try to gauge their progress for myself, let alone a standardized testing that doesn't always work for everyone. Right. So is there any roadmap? Is there a direction besides what direction should we start? Where should we start?
Practice the perfect Practice makes perfect. So if you're that parent that, let's go back to sitting with our child at night reading. You reading to the child reading to you. Just that engagement. Asking our kids, do you have homework? Sitting there. A lot of times, a lot of parents don't understand the homework. But that's where the teacher comes into play.
Right.
Reach out to us, email, call us. That's our job. We're there to help. But if we don't know they need help, how do we help them?
Right. Right. So you mentioned something about it takes a village, and
Yes, it does.
and you said, teachers, parents, students, teachers, parents, students. So how difficult, from your standpoint of being a teacher, how hard is it getting the parents involved?
It is so hard. It's extremely hard. I know I'm live, but I'm a very honest person. But I feel like we pay a lot of attention to sports,
Mm-hmm.
and we miss the bigger picture of the academics. Um,
Okay, I got you. I'm with you now.
Not all of our kids are going to be the next Kobe,
Right.
the next Serena Williams,
Or next Brewster.
or the next Brewster.
Please don't get it next person.
We got to get back to understand that academics is important. It is important because if you can't read and write, it's a very slim chance. What can you really do?
Right. Right. And you say that, and it's a fact.
Mhm.
It is a fact. And here's what's interesting about that. I remember working with a young man who played sports
Mhm.
and couldn't figure out why he didn't understand a lot of things that was going on during the game,
Mhm.
and then learned afterwards there was a problem with reading. There was a struggle with reading, and no one knew that.
Right.
No one knew that until he started actually playing sports, where he had to read a playbook and understand it. So even what you just said, academics, we're getting away from academics. There's still an academic requirement that you need if you're going to do sports. It's not just, hey, I can get out and dribble or throw a ball or run. There's a lot of things involved where those athletes have to read and learn plays.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to read, how are you supposed to learn those plays? So you bring up a very, very good point on that, and in saying that. So how do we bring the parents together to support our teachers?
That's a good question because we have to build a relationship. So I am big on building a relationship. I'm just not that teacher. I'm involved in their games. I go to parties, and I see that the more my parents see I care, the more they push in.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to start having an open door policy where the parents can start tapping back into the schools and stop pushing them away because we need them. We really do.
Wow, interesting.
So are your seats filled?
So actually, right now we have just only 5 on the waiting list, and that is for middle school English. And we just hired another tutor, so now we have a total of 8 tutors at the facility. And I'm looking to build even more. I want this to be something big because in our community we have a great need of education.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, I don't want parents to look at it just as a struggle, but let's push beyond that. Let's push beyond. Let's start the enrichment piece. So
Okay, so that's as I'm sitting here listening, and I don't want the audience themselves to get kind of caught up in the tutoring, the catch up part.
mhm.
The enrichment part is
It's a piece too.
yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely it's a very important piece. That's that above and beyond part,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
That's good
Let's
stuff,
keep feeding the brain. You have to keep feeding the brain.
right?
Right. So tell me a little bit, give me some statistics with Rising Stars.
Okay, so like I said, we do have 2 locations. One on Bob Wallace and another one down the South Parkway. We are all certified school teachers. So we know what that child needs. The child needs. We start off with K through 5, giving them a diagnostic test just to see where they stand. A lot of times in the classroom, everything is on level until we go to those small groups. So when we do those one-on-one sessions, we're meeting those students exactly where they are. And I tell them a lot of times, You come in telling us that they're in fifth grade, but are they reading on the fifth grade level?
Right.
Our job there is to make sure if they're on the third grade, that's okay. Our job there is to make sure that we're trying to reach their full potential to get them where they're at. We don't want them to stay. I believe that all kids can grow. Just like watering a flower. The more you water it, what does it do? It grows.
Grow.
The more you water the child, what's going to happen? He or she is going to grow.
Right. Interesting. So with that being said, do you find a lot of your students who y'all tutor, especially as they get into the high school, want to give back and say, hey, I want to be able to tutor some of my friends, who are struggling?
I haven't had that yet. I did have two students from Alabama A&M University reach out to me and ask if they volunteer. So I was like, yeah, I love that. This is the first time that happened. But just to have them asking to volunteer, that was something good too, because they're in the education department and they just want to have this deal with those students.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
That is awesome.
So you said you're looking to expand and to give more. So do you have a plan on tap right now?
So actually, Rising Star Tutor always give back. We do something for Thanksgiving. We do something for Christmas. We do for Halloween. We do the trunk or treats. I'm always looking to give to the community. But when I say expansion, I'm looking to house everybody all together instead of having instead of having two locations, so that way I can branch out to the KRS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. Do you find that are you able to work with others who are in that same field, or is there a combination of effort? For instance, you have five on a waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
So how long is a student normally on the waiting list?
So since I just hired a lady for ELA, those five will push in.
So what is ELA again?
English Language Arts.
Okay.
Yes. So she'll be tutoring for 7th, 8th, and freshmen.
Okay. All right. So Rising Stars, right? Tutoring at LLC.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's how, so I would just kind of type that in.
Yes. Rising Star Tutoring .net. We are on Instagram.
Okay.
We are on Facebook as well. And you also can visit us online as well to look at all services. We offer one-on-one service. That's the tutor and the student. We have small group, which varies from 3 to 5 students, no more than 5 students. We also offer virtual learning. I tell all my parents, if the child is really struggling, I don't recommend virtual learning, but it is really up to the parents.
Right.
All consultations, I am the one who do the consultations. All consultations are free. During those consultations, I identify the strength and weakness of that child just to see how that child learns. Not every child is going to be able to sit at a table and chair. Some kids want to sit on a rocking stool, or some kids will need to stand up. Some kids maybe want to floor. So I try to understand their learning style to make sure that they're learning.
Right. Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to learn with my eyes closed in bed. And so
Well, how smart are you?
I graduated.
So as we realize how smart my co-host is here now, hey, for those who are watching this and those who happen to live in the Huntsville area, please share this with someone that you know who can utilize these services. As Ms. Chapman stated, that they do have 2 locations one on Bob Wallace and one down on the South Parkway. So it's convenient for those who are some distance away from Bob Wallace and so forth. But please remember, just share it with them, because they could probably use this information for their children or even their neighbor's children or something like that, because you never know. So you mentioned all of your tutors are certified school teachers, which is the first time I've heard this in tutoring. How did that come about?
So my vision was to tap into teachers that's already in the classroom and have a feel for kids. This is not just a job. This is something that you love to do. You have to have a feel for it. So I branched out to different schools. We have Madison City, Yorker, Madison County, Huntsville City, which I'm a part of, and even a private school, St. John.
Okay, interesting. So do they all feel that same passion and that same energy that Miss Chapman puts into Rising Star?
Yes, they have to. They have to. They have to, because being a teacher is a tiring job. So when you leave your workplace and then go to the tutoring center, it has to be a feel. It has to be something that you want to do. Because we all can turn our wheels and go home. But instead, they choose to come to the tutoring center.
That's great.
That's great.
So 3 years, 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that before COVID? You started your business upstairs?
That was 1 year before COVID.
Okay. So
No,
2 years.
2 years before COVID.
2 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it for you transitioning your business into the COVID that time frame?
So a lot of my parents, they didn't stop. Everything had to go into the virtual, which I was very pleased with. I was afraid. I'm like, okay, we lose students, but the parents said, no, we're going to keep going. To me, this was a blessing. Although COVID hit home and it was a bad tragedy, but it was a blessing for the tutoring because more parents came into the tutoring and they didn't want their kids to fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when our e-portal, we use the virtual learning for a great benefit. A lot of our students are virtually.
Okay, that's good. So do you feel as though you're equally as much when it comes to the e-portal now?
No, a lot of our kids were more one-on-one. They're back in. They're back in.
So how are the kids enjoy? What do they think?
I guess love it. So another thing, I don't allow the parents to come to the tutoring center.
Do you have pizza?
We have snacks. Yes, we do, but not pizza. And
No
candy.
Tutoring.
So with the parents, a lot of times parents are distraction. So when the kids come in, I want the kids to be them. I don't want the parents to say, no, she knows that. He knows that. Maybe they didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to be comfortable. If they don't know something, speak up. A lot of times parents say, sit up straight. No, if they want to sit on the floor, let them sit on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If they want, sometimes you may come in, you may be sitting on the table. Whatever way is going to get those kids to be engaged, we're all in.
That's interesting. That is really interesting. Do you find, while you being a teacher and a tutor, when kids come to class, do you find that they say, well, I couldn't do this because, I wasn't allowed to lay down on the floor to write my paper or to go over my spelling words or something like that? How do you address that when now you're in a classroom structured setting?
So my classroom is structured. It is structured. I let my kids. So I have 2 little boys now that are just so active. But I let them learn how they want to learn. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be those students that's going to always sit up at their desk. Mm-hmm. You walk in, and maybe stretch out on the floor, but are they learning? Are they paying attention? Are they engaged? That's all that matters. That's it. That's all.
Well, I would love someone out there to ask a question when it comes to that, because my son has this particular way that he engages his homework, and if you ask me, I swear he's sleeping. So I'm a tad bit from that era to say, sit up.
Yes, yeah. That's how I went to private school all my life until I went to Alabama Indian University. So having that structure where pencils had none. So then my dad had police officer made it no better. But hey, it doesn't work in today's time. And we have to understand that discipline is not the same as it used to be.
Right.
That's the first thing. The food that we eat is not the same. So we have to really adapt to how the kids learn.
Mm-hmm. You see me cutting my eyes at you, don't you?
I'm just being honest.
I'm cutting my eyes because, okay, so, yeah, I don't think that's your field of study if I ask the question. So what happened? How did we get
what
here?
happened? That's it. I think that's what the question everybody wants to know. How do we come about this? Like, how do we get here? Right. I don't think nobody knows.
Right.
Interesting.
Okay.
That is interesting. I know I tried to play an active role when my kids were in school. Mm-hmm. So much to the point whereas, there was times I got banned from the school. I was too active.
But we need that. We need that back in school.
I was too active. So now, do you all as educators in the school system, do y'all try to do a campaign for the parents? Like, hey, parents, we would like to just have a meet with y'all or have a talk with y'all. Do y'all send out letters? Say, hey, give me a call anytime you want to call, talk about Tom, Jody, whoever, what's going on. What are some of the ways that you try to get the parents involved?
And our teachers don't agree with me with this, but all my parents have a cell phone number. A lot of my students have my cell phone number. And I always tell them, if you're doing homework you don't understand, call me. I don't mind. Although I have my own daughter, she's 12, I'm more flexible because she has me. A lot of times the students don't have anybody.
Right.
So I want them to understand that learning is just not in the classroom. If you go home and you need help and that parent's not there to help you, let me know and I'll talk to you over the phone. But when it comes down to my parents, I always tell my parents that, like I said, at open house, we're doing homework. You don't understand because the curriculum today is not what we were taught back then.
No, sir.
Common Core is totally different now than back then. So I don't expect the parents to understand math problems. And I love math, that's my forte. So they're not going to understand it the way. And some parents want the kids to do the way they want them to do.
Right.
So when I get it, I'm like, I teach you that strategy. So I tell my parents all the time, call me if you have a question. I don't want you to be like, well, this is how we did it. Johnny couldn't do this, and we just forgot about it. I'd rather for you to at least try to call me or text me to let me know it was something that you didn't understand. Because as parents, we're not going to know that.
And you're right on that. And I think I'm going to use you for my grandchildren. They may not even go to your school, but I'm going to call you because here's the reason why. I get what you said that the other teachers don't agree with you on what you're doing, but I've had my grandchildren's homework in front of me that they didn't know. And I was looking at it, and I was like, what the heck is that? This how am I supposed? I don't know this. I mean, where's your example page? I'm looking for the example page. I ain't got a page that shows you how to do this problem. No, sir. I'm like, I have no idea. And I had no one to call. They didn't know. I didn't know. I'm trying to Google it. Google is not helping me. I needed somebody to explain to me what it was we were supposed to do. I didn't need that answer, but give me another problem. Right? How I'm supposed to come to this answer. Once I knew that, then I can show them what they needed to do. But I couldn't do that. And so
Call me.
No, I ain't never calling you. You study with your eyes closed in bed.
Right, you didn't say that.
But there was no way for me to help them at that particular time. Right. And then there's been other times where they're working problems and they've done it just like you said, totally different from the way we was brought up. And I'm like, where are you going with that? You don't put that over there. Oh no, this is the new math. That's a new math. Back is back.
Well, you understand the new math is better than the old math.
And that's what they're telling me.
It don't take you that long. It's easy. I like it.
Yeah, just copy paste it and put it in Chegg. So HEGG for you folks. So okay, so you all finished the last question. So HCS, Huntsville City Schools. What is your relationship with HCS?
I love Huntsville City Schools.
Because you have a private entity, right?
But are we connected? No.
Not connected.
Okay.
And a lot of our students don't even come from Huntsville City Schools. We have a lot of students in Madison County.
Really? So my question to that is, why is that? Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure.
So are most of your students from marketing or from word of mouth?
Word of mouth.
Okay.
I try to market a lot, but like I said, my day is so busy. So I do what I can, but a lot of times it's word of mouth. And I go to a lot of business mixers and get it out that way.
Okay. Interesting. That is interesting.
But I would love to have my Huntsville City babies.
Okay. So do you Title Ones?
Yes, I'm a Title I school.
Do you work with Miss Michelle Watkins a lot?
Yes, I love Michelle Watkins.
So does she help get the word out about those parents whose children need help, where they can send them to?
Sometimes I do see her sharing posts, but I have never had a sit down conversation with her about it. But I'm sure that she would.
Yeah. Okay. Well, viewers, those who are out there listening, those here in this Huntsville, Alabama area, if you got a child that needs that help, by all means, let's send them the Rising Star. Let them speak with Miss Porche like this, Miss Chapman, and she can get them started with that one-on-one consultation. And on that consultation evaluation, what do? Is it like, okay, I need you to do this 10 problems? How do you evaluate?
So I talk to the parents 1st.
Mm-hmm.
The student is there, but they have a diagnostic test that they take separately from the parents. So with the parents, I get to know what they feel like their child's strength and weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I get to know a lot with the parents say, I don't know if my child has a strength. Everybody has a strength. Everybody has a strength. So I ask them far as ADD, ADHD, IEP, because by us being certified teachers, we have to follow everything.
Mm-hmm.
What's that last acronym?
IEP.
IEP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that being said, we got to make sure that we follow everything that's in their IEP to make sure they're successfully learning.
Okay.
All right. Interesting.
I'm sorry. Here we go again. It's ADHD and ADD and IEPs, right? Those acronyms. Are all kids what the acronyms say they are?
Oh my doctor, I'm a teacher.
Oh yeah, I've heard kids call themselves those acronyms, and they just seem so
only do what they see or hear an adult. So therefore, they probably have heard the adults say that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was growing up, it was called if we didn't have yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. It was called whipping, and I was straightened up. I'm good. I went back to school right. You couldn't tell me nothing after that. I learned my lesson.
Now we are talking about the old.
Yeah, it's old. Not now.
We don't condone that type of,
So, Rising Stars. How many staff members you have right now?
8. We just added another one.
9 staff members, all who are certified teachers. Do they all teach in HCS or Madison?
Madison City, Madison County, Huntsville City, and one private education private institute.
Okay. So one of our viewers out there put a question up, says, is pricing for tutoring on the website?
Yes, it is.
All right. And another question is, can you repeat the website again?
It is risingStarsTutoring.net.
All right. risingStarsTutoring.net. All right. So this is awesome.
I'm taking a couple of classes right now.
No, he is.
I have this one.
And I'm giving it to you all for free.
Okay, something called chemistry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some math in it. You said you love math, so make sure I get a card or something.
So he brings up a good point. Is your staffers all? How can I say it? Are they
specific
area? Right.
Yes, they all have a specific area of subject. If you're elementary, you can't tutor a middle school or high school.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the foundation. So if you're middle school and high school, you have that. It's one of the tutors. He's math and science. That's his forte, math and science. I would never put him with someone that says, "Hey, I'm struggling in reading," or "I want to be in reading." No.
Right.
Math and science.
Okay.
So yeah, they all have a specific subject area.
Great,
Yes.
great. I was wondering about that as soon as you mentioned chemistry. But hey, so if you get somebody who needs chemistry help or biology help, algebra help. Well, that's the math and science. That's the math and science.
You need all that?
Yeah, he needs all that. He's still like this. So anyway, team, viewers out there. Again, if you have anything for Ms. Chapman and any questions in regards to tutoring or anything like that for your child, please reach out to her, or you can put it in the chat. Our producer will get it. Please just remember to continue to like and share on this broadcast so that we can get this information out to as many viewers, as people as we can, so that those who need these type of services can receive them. All right. What was I saying?
Age. So what are your age?
Okay, so our youngest right now is 3.
Really?
Our youngest right now is 3. And our oldest is in the collegiate
55?
level.
3 years old. Wow.
3.
And I'm going to only assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, they have the 3-year-old in there for enrichment because they're already like ahead of themselves. Like, this child is already talking about encyclopedias, our fidelity, psychedelia, Bogosius. Like this, we need to get her a tutor or him a tutor so they can go ahead and increase what they're already doing. That is awesome. That really is
awesome. We have quite a few. Thank my parents that travel from Tennessee. Yes.
That is awesome.
That's a blessing.
Wow. That is awesome. In your opinion, what do you feel is, well, let me ask you, did you feel that 3-year-old was too soon to be tutoring?
At first I did. I was like, oh, I want to be grade level. But when she kept telling me, I said, we'll give it a try. But she caught on. There are some things that she struggled with, but the struggle is okay. Because she's in there to, like I said, to get enriched. So everything she's not going to know. But she's soaring.
Really? That is awesome. Man, I would have never thought of putting a 3-year-old in tutoring. I would have never thought that.
Yeah, that's my parents did me like that.
Oh yeah, they put a whole bunch of things in. I'm sure of that. You Talladega folks, we gotta get. So, hey, Portia, anything that you would like to leave with, before we proceed to close?
I just want to say that Rising Stars Tutoring cannot be Rising Star Tutoring without my team. There's no such thing as I in team.
Right.
So me making this possible myself, no. It's my team that's helping me get these kids where they have to go.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for each and every one of them.
Outstanding. And who are they, by the way?
So I have Angela Smith, I have Leona Lawrence, I have Miss Ariel, I have Nair Joseph, I have Elijah Williams, I have Vince Daniels, I have Tanisha Austin, and I have Lakeisha Ackland.
Outstanding. Hey, Rising Star team, we appreciate you guys out there for what you are doing and helping the community and helping these kids learn what they are learning. I think it's an awesome thing that's going on. I think it's an awesome thing that you're doing, Ms. Chapman, and helping these children. And again, as we spoke earlier, anytime I have someone here, I learn something. And I learned that a 3-year-old can get enrichment and tutoring, which I never thought of. It never came to my mind. Mr. Farby?
There's only a few guests that we've had that kind of intimidated me. And but you know what? It's really because you're so solid in your foundation, and you're determined, right? And I don't see the crack. I don't see cracks. Sometimes we ask, well, what keeps you up at night? It seems like what keeps you up at night is the potential growth. There's a bigger need.
Kids keep me up. You're right. That's true.
Yeah. So thank you, really. And having the patience and the desire, and having kids, I guess, and then going to work with kids, that takes a special person. I really think it does. And when there's those times you meet with your kids and new teachers every year and things like that, you have a discussion. I have this period of assessment myself, right? And I can kind of have an idea if their mold is of that type, right? It's almost like, oh my goodness, where do you get this level of patience and care from? So it's an excellent, and I see that in you.
Thank you.
It's just, I don't feel like it's just a right now in front
It's
of the
forever.
camera. Because absolutely.
So hopefully I have my own school.
Outstanding. Hey, when you get it, we'll be right here. We come on back to talk about that. Hey, parents, those guardians out there, make sure you attend those parent-teacher conferences. Get involved with your kids. If you're overseeing kids, get involved with what they're doing, and find out if they need help. They might need some tutoring sessions. Hey, by all means, please look up Miss Chapman and her organization, because she has a wonderful staff who's ready to help. All right. And as always, please remember, your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow. Good night.